Hey guys, Brian and PS4 Trophies, and tomorrow morning, in fact, you're going to see a new patch for the Division. So I want to kind of take a few moments here to just kind of like highlight some of what I feel is the most important parts of the patch. Now, there are a ton of fixes, a lot of bugs they're fixing. I'm not going to detail them all out. If you want, I'll put a link in the description. You can read the entire set of patch notes. But I want to talk about what's really probably the most important stuff. Now, you can see, speaking of bugs, I am in the Lexington Event Center here in a group of 8. I'm actually technically not in the group, but 8 of us are all in the same game doing the same mission. Not entirely sure how that happened, but it was a fun time, fun experience. But let's go ahead and talk about some of the changes. A lot of the changes are in the Dark Zone, specifically level 30 Dark Zone. But before we travel to the Dark Zone, let's take a look at some of the stuff in the open world. First is well, if you saw my video from the other day, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But killing named NPCs will no longer respawn after being killed in the open world. So what a lot of us were doing is traveling up to Autumn's Hope safe house, and there was a named boss there. We'd run out, kill him, and respawn, and rinse and repeat. Unfortunately, once they're dead, they're gonna stay dead. Also, named enemies will drop better loot in challenge mode, which you're seeing me complete a mission here. They'll drop better loot in challenge mode than in hard mode. So I don't know if they're going to increase the quality of loot in challenge mode or decrease the quality of loot in hard mode. It'll be one or the other. Not really a big deal. I think most people are doing these challenge mode missions to get the gear, the high-end gear reward for completing it. So let's go ahead and travel to the Dark Zone, and the biggest and best change in this patch, by far, in my opinion, is that players are now able to fast travel to Dark Zone checkpoints when coming from outside the Dark Zone. So if you're inside the Dark Zone, you can't fast travel, but if you want to fast travel to a specific checkpoint to meet up with your team, that's an awesome change. A lot of people are going to probably use this to fast travel to near Division Tech locations to check and see if the spawn is up. Those are on a 2-hour respawn timer, so a lot of the people looking for Division Tech are probably going to be happy with this as well. So hallelujah to that. Now let's go ahead and talk about healing of other neutral players. You can now do that using first aid and support station skills, so if you come across a neutral player not in your group who needs a little healing, go ahead and heal them up. They'll probably appreciate it. Now, players in the Dark Zone are also going to drop ammo, medkits, and grenades when they are killed. The loot is actually generated separately, not taken from the dying player's inventory. And players, speaking of being killed in the Dark Zone, players will lose less Dark Zone funds and experience. Whether you're rogue or non-rogue, you're going to lose less money and less experience, which is really great, because once you get up to past level 30, 40, every time you die, it was a massive setback. So I don't know what the actual difference will be, but it is definitely going to be much appreciated, especially when you die. You don't have to spend another hour to try to get back the experience you lost. Now, you're going to lose less Dark Zone funds, but Dark Zone funds are actually going to be reduced from enemies, so you're not going to get as much to begin with. So kind of the flip side of the coin there. And let's talk about Phoenix credits. Phoenix credit drops have been increased. Now, level 30 named bosses are going to still drop 1 to 3 Phoenix credits like they currently do. The level 31 named bosses are going to now drop 2 to 4 Phoenix credits. Level 32 is going to drop 3 to 5 Phoenix credits. So it's going to be probably a better way to farm Phoenix credits. Doing the challenging mission, actually, in my opinion, was the best way. And now this is going to make farming the named bosses in the upper DZ zone probably the fastest way to get Phoenix credits. Now, let's remember that this is also nerfed from the original when the game first came out, where they were dropping between 5 to 10. Now, let's talk about the chests. We all have seen these chests, the little chests that around the Dark Zone. Now, every time you open it up, every single time it dropped a blue item. Well, those level 30 chests are now going to drop purple items all the time. No more of those blue drops, which made no sense if you were a level 30 player. Now, key chests, the ones that you got to use the Dark Zone keys. will now have a chance to drop high-end gold items. Thank God. I know a lot of players out there have several hundred Dark Zone keys, and they were worthless. We're out trying to find high-end items, and now you can use those keys to open those chests for a chance at a high-end item. Now, that chance is probably still 1 in 100, or even worse, but at least we have a use for those things now. Now, here's a really cool change here, and this is kind of, we're going to wrap things up here. They've increased the drop rate of high-end items from level 31 and 32 named enemies in the Dark Zone. So before, it was probably a 0.5% chance, about 1 in 200 chance of dropping a high-end item. Now that drop rate is going to increase to what? We'll have to do some testing to see really what it is. And again, that's off level 31 and 32 named NPCs. So the level 31's down in the southern part of the map isn't going to increase. And also, increasing the drop rate of high-end division tech material is coming to level 32 named bosses. So those are the bosses you see in the northern zones and GZ8 up there. So that's kind of a nice and welcome change. So we're going to be able to farm Phoenix credits and division tech material more efficiently than we have in the past. And again, this is just kind of like the highlights of what I feel was the most important to me as far as the patch coming tomorrow. There is a whole bunch of other small tweaks they're making, bugs they're fixing, so go ahead, I'll put a link in the description if you want to read all of them. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like, comment, and of course, subscribe.